Hi, and welcome to episode 58 of the Noble Character Crafts podcast. My name is Amy, and I am coming to you from eastern Nebraska, where I live on a farm with my husband and our 5 children. Today is Friday, March 15th, 2019. This is a podcast all about my crafty life, and today I have knitting and hand-dyed yarn to share with you all. Thank you so much for joining me today. A huge welcome to any new or returning viewers. I really appreciate you joining me today, and I hope that you enjoyed this episode. You can find me online on Instagram and Etsy at Noble Character Crafts. You can find me on Ravelry at Noble Character, and I also have a group for this podcast in Ravelry under Noble Character Crafts Podcast. In that group, you will be able to find the show notes for this episode as well as previous episodes and several other chatter threads. You can also get in contact with me through my email at noblecharactercrafts@yahoo.com. And I will have links to all of the places that you can find me in the description box below. In the Ravelry group, I do have a thread for Noble Character Crafts yarns projects. And that is for any project that you might be making using Noble Character Crafts yarn. The project does not have to be done 100% in Noble Character Crafts yarn, but at least if you use some of my yarn in it, in your project, you are certainly welcome to enter into that thread. And I like to pull a winner from that thread for a prize every once in a while, just to encourage you all to continue entering your projects in there. And so I went ahead and pulled a random number from Random Number Generator again today from that thread, and I picked, it picked post number 44, which is the Knitter's Nook, and that is Leslie. And Leslie, congratulations. Her post number 44 was her finished object of her Zweig sweater that she knit using the enriched colorway and the Deep Waters colorway, which is a deep navy blue. So it's absolutely gorgeous, and congratulations, Leslie. You have won. All of my yarn comes in one of these hand-stamped project bags. In here I have included a set of mini hanks of yarn. I do have a listing in my shop for mini hanks of yarn. They are 20 grams and they are sold individually, so you can choose any colors that you like from that listing. And you can just make up your own set of mini skeins. And the 5 colorways that I have chosen for this set are my Fountains of the Deep, Peace, Springs of Life, Glad, and Flourish. And then also included with each of my yarn, I also include a progress keeper or stitch marker that I make. And this one has a little pearl and a stone on there. Or it's kind of like a shell, a piece of a shell. Anyway, and they come on these earring clasps so that they're easily removed, and they're also big enough to fit on several needle sizes, so I like using them myself. So anyway, congratulations, Leslie. I have your address already, of course, from your orders of my yarn, and so I will just go ahead and get this in the mail to you as soon as possible. Congratulations. And please, everybody, continue to enter your projects using my hand-dyed yarn in that thread. It's just such a joy to be able to see my hand-dyed yarn knit up into your beautiful projects. So thank you so much for entering, and please continue to do so. Today I am wearing my Hannah's Summer Braid sweater, and this is a beautiful design by Amy Self-Lindland of Amy's Little Kingdom. I knit this in my own hand-dyed yarn, Noble Character Crafts yarn, in my enriched colorway, and this is on my Josephine DK weight base. And then on my dress form in the back is a shawl that I knitted in 2017, and it is the Elena Half Hap, which is a beautiful design by Suzanne Vish. And I knit that also in quite a few of, the majority of it is in my own hand-dyed yarn, except for the border. The border was made using a colorway that I won from Allison Barnes collection. And I absolutely love the colorway on the border of that shawl. It's beautiful. It is worsted weight, and I really love worsted weight shawls for winter. They're so cozy and warm. So anyway, I really love that shawl. I get quite a bit of use out of it, so that's always great. I am super excited to start off today with another finished object to share with you all. I was able to finish my Minerva mittens, and I'm so incredibly pleased with how they turned out. This beautiful pattern is by Elizabeth of Solapalooza Knits, and I am so pleased with these. They were such a joy to knit, and I'm really happy with the finished product. I used my own hand-dyed yarn for these. I used my Gentle base, which is a fingering weight base, 100% non-superwash merino wool. And the two colorways that I use, the light tan color is my Good Scents colorway, and the contrast teal color is my Refreshes colorway. So I'm super pleased with how those colors worked up together. And these will also go along with the sparkling cider hat that I recently finished in the Refreshes colorway as well. So they're kind of a matching set. And I'm so pleased about that as well. Just such a beautiful, well-written pattern. I can't recommend it enough. It was so much fun to knit. There was no confusion as I was knitting it. It was just so beautifully written. They are knit from the cuff and up. I love the long cuff that this has, and I really like the looks of it. And yeah, they just knit it up so beautifully, I think. So happy with them. I used US size 2 2.75 millimeter needle for the cuff, and then I switched to a US 4 3.5 millimeter for the remainder of the mitten. I did not make any modifications to the pattern, and I'm so pleased with the fit. I just think the pattern is absolutely stunning, and I just love it. I really love that contrast bit on the top of the palm of the hand here. I think that's so beautifully designed, and I couldn't be more happy with these. These are my second pair of mittens that I have made this year, and I am going to try to be a part of the year-long knit-along that Ellie of Scandier Knits is hosting, which you are supposed to make 6 pairs of mittens within the year. So I'm hopeful that I will be able to continue to work on some color work mittens so that I can participate in that knit-along. And I just am enjoying making them so much. Colorwork mittens are, I just think, so much fun to work up. So as we're going into spring soon and summer, of course, I'm not sure if I will lose my momentum for making them, but I really am enjoying them so far this year, and I'm hopeful that I will continue to make a few more pairs this year. So 4 more pairs and I will be able to be a part of that knit-along. So yeah, I just am so pleased with them, and this is, let's see, which number is this for my Make 9 list? I think this is number 6. Is that right? I have 2 more on the works right now, and that is 6 and 7. So this must be number 5, I think. Let's see. I made the sweater for my son, the metamorphic sweater. I made the headband, the Rhubarb Bidou headband. I made the Ukaveld mittens. I made the sparkling cider hat, and yeah, I think these are number 5, and then 2 of my whips make 7 so far from my Make 9 list. So I'm speeding right along. I'm not sure if I will complete all 9 from my list. I have kind of had a few inspirations this last week of what I want to make next, and I might start diverting from my Make 9 list. But even if I make 7 things from my Make 9 list, I think that is really awesome. So I'm pleased with that anyway, and yeah, super happy with this finished object. The gauge for these is 32 stitches to 4 inches. Okay, on to works in progress. My first work in progress is in this beautiful project bag from Tanny Casey. and it has a twill and print row counter enamel pin on there, which I love. And it goes so well with the fabric, I think. And in here is the Brioche Luscious shawl by Andrea Mowry that I am making for a lady that I go to church with as a gift. And it is a surprise gift, actually. This particular lady asked me about making a shawl. She just made a comment about how I have made a few shawls for a few of the other ladies that we go to church with, and I don't remember how she worded it, but she said something like, well, basically, how can I get one? And I think, like, you know, she was wanting to buy one or something, but I don't want to sell her a shawl. I want to make her a shawl and gift it to her. So I am. And anyway, that was quite a while ago. It was back in the fall when we talked about that. So I know that it will be a big surprise for her, and I just love surprising people with gifts. So I'm really hopeful that she will like this. I'm pretty confident that she will. So this is coming along wonderfully. I am really enjoying making this. I am actually making myself put it down after I finish a section so that I can work on my other projects as well. I mean, I'm loving all of my projects as I usually do, but I have actually made myself stop after I finished another section on this just so that I can pace myself and, you know, work on all of my projects evenly a little bit, I guess. So last time I recorded, I was just finished with the fourth section, which was this brioche section. This little progress keeper from Amanda of Little Bitty Delights is marking where I left off from last time. And so I was able to finish the fifth section, which is another short row section using seed stitch. And I absolutely love seed stitch and how I just love the texture that it makes. I think it's so much fun. I just love how it feels and looks. I am using my own hand-dyed yarn for this project as well. I am using 4 different colorways. So the first 2 colors I used here in this stripe section are my Bare Lambs colorway, along with my solid black Night colorway. And then for this second section, well, I also used the Lambs and the Night in the first brioche section here as well. Then in the second section, here I used my Silent colorway, which is a light gray speckled with black, and again my Night colorway. I did use some of my Night colorway on my Twinkle Toes base, which has some gold stellina in it for this second section, and I also used some of the gold stellina yarn for the brioche section as well. For the, and the last section that I just did here also is using that same Silent colorway. And then the other colorway that I'm using is right here, and that is my Insight colorway, which is a neutral or base bare yarn, and it is also speckled with black. And the black breaks into orange and blue and even some little tiny bits of red once in a while. There's one in the middle of that cake. And I love the effect of that, how the dye breaks into other colors. So anyway, it is just working up so beautifully. It is, as you can well see, scrunched up on these needles, and so I can't wait till I can spread it out once it's all done and see how gorgeous it is. I am using the recommended needle size, which are US 4 3.5 millimeter needles. And yeah, it's just, I'm really enjoying it. And the next section will be another brioche section just like this one, and I'm going to do it again in these same colors, the Bare Lambs and Night colorway, just the same as this. And after that next brioche section, there's only one more section left for the edging, which is an applied border, I believe, of brioche as well. So anyway, it is coming along nicely and I'm loving it, and I just am enjoying every stitch. It's so much fun. I really love shawl knitting in general, so it's really a pleasure to work on. It is pretty mindless once you get into the rhythm of each section. You know, the seed stitch is definitely easy just to continue on. You knit the purls and you purl the knits. And also the brioche, really, once you get the hang of it, it's not hard, you know, I don't have to look at the pattern. I just know what I need to do, and it's really not very difficult to do brioche. The actual step of doing brioche is just knit and slips and yarn overs, so, and then purls if you're going on the other side. But there's nothing that's really actually very difficult. It is more difficult to fix mistakes, but I haven't made any mistakes on this shawl yet in the brioche section. I did, if you've tuned in a while, you may remember that I made a mistake on the second section. I had to completely rip that out and do it over again. But anyway, on the brioche, I haven't made any mistakes that I have found anyway. But in the past, I have made mistakes in brioche and have been able to fudge my way into fixing it. And not in a perfect way, but in a way that's not noticeable. So that's good enough for me. Anyway, if you haven't tried brioche yet because you're afraid it's too hard, I highly recommend you just giving it a try, because it's really, really not that hard. It is just yarn, and you can't always just rip it out and try again, right? That's how we learn that's how we learn. So anyway, my next work in progress is in this beautiful bag that was made for me by Mary Ann of Rock Islander on Instagram. And she and I did a swap last year, and she made this bag especially for me, which is so special, and I love it so much. And in here is my stone ham poncho slash sweater. So this is a design by Diana Walla, who is known as Cake and Vikings on Instagram. And the original pattern is a poncho, but I have decided to add sleeves to this to make it into a sweater. And it is coming along really nicely. Last time I recorded, I was on the ribbing on the front section. I had decided that I wanted to try to make this have a split hem. And so last time I recorded, I was just working on the front section of the ribbing, and this little progress keeper, which is also from Mary Ann of Rock Islander, is marking where I was when I last recorded. So after I was able to finish, I knit the ribbing for 3 inches and bound off, and then I worked the back ribbing, and I was thinking of doing a high-low hem as well. And once I got to the 3-inch point on the back section, I tried it on, and I decided that I really did not like the looks of the split hem on this garment. So I decided that I was just going to not do the high-low hem, just do it 3 inches as well, and I ended up just seaming the sides together so that it doesn't have a split hem. And I just really like the looks of that better on this garment anyway. I have not yet made a split hem or a high-low hem unless it was written into the pattern. You know, I haven't adjusted a pattern at all to add a high-low hem. So this was my first attempt at trying to do that, and I just really didn't like the looks of it. So anyway, let me walk you through this pattern a little bit more in case you haven't tuned in before. It is knit from the top down and has this beautiful color work yoke that I love so much. I did eliminate 2 sections of the color work so that I could split for the sleeves a little bit sooner. Otherwise, the yoke was going to be a little bit too deep, and I wanted to split for the sleeves a little bit sooner. And I did not want to carry the color work into the sleeves. So I eliminated a section of these plus sign and a section of this pattern that was supposed to be down here after this stripe, and then after this section there was supposed to be the plus signs, and after this section there was supposed to be the checkerboard type pattern. So anyway, I eliminated those 2 so that I could split for the sleeves, and I just used numbers from a different DK weight sweater that I found on Ravelry. It was a free pattern. I should try to look that up again because I don't remember which pattern it was that I used, but I just tried to find a DK weight pattern on Ravelry that was free that I could kind of compare, that had comparable numbers from what I had to be able to split for the sleeves and make it work. So anyway, what I ended up doing was putting 44 stitches on hold for the sleeves, casting on 15 stitches for the underarm, and then just knitting the body in stockinette without any increases or decreases or anything, just plain, no shaping in the body. And I worked that for 9.5 inches from the color work until I started the ribbing. So anyway, I have knit the first sleeve, as you can see here. I have this horrible hole in the arm here that I'm going to need to go back and stitch up. You can like see right through it on both sides. There's bad holes right there from where I picked up the sleeve, but it'll be okay. I'm just going to go back in and stitch that closed a little bit better. I often have trouble with that as I'm knitting. I often have trouble as I pick up the arm, picking up the right number of stitches and making it look neat. People have suggested to pick up more stitches, so like I said, when I first split for the sleeves, I cast on 15 stitches, and usually you end up picking up the same number of stitches that you cast on when you start the sleeve. I actually picked up 5 extra stitches, so I had 20 stitches on the underarm, but still I have that bad hole right there. It'll be okay though. I'll stitch it closed, and it's not a problem. I knit the sleeves without any shaping as well, and I really love the looks of that, and I love the ease of knitting a sleeve without any shaping. I did right before I was ready to start the cuff, I just knit 2 together all the way around so that I would have a major decrease for the cuff. And I knit the cuff with the 2x2 ribbing as well, same as everywhere else. It's all 2x2 ribbing, and I knit that for 3 inches as well. So I have started on the second sleeve, and again, I have pretty bad holes on, well, they're not quite as bad on this side, I don't think, but oh well. Okay, I am using my own hand-dyed yarn for this project as well. This is all DK weight on my Josephine base, which is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. The main color is my Black Night colorway, and then the 2 contrast colors are my Sweetness colorway, which is a bare yarn that is speckled with pink, deep plum, and brown. And this bright pinkish purple color is my Gaze colorway. And for the needles, I am using US size 4 3.5 millimeter for all of the ribbing. I went up to a US size 8 5 millimeter for the color work, and for the main body I used a US size 6 4 millimeter needle, and the gauge for this project is 22 stitches to 4 inches. Yeah, it's coming along beautifully. I really love the fit of it. I love how it looks, and I'm excited to, this second sleeve shouldn't take me too terribly long to finish, so I should have this project finished pretty soon, I think, I hope. And I'm really pleased with it. So I think that's all I have to say for this project. I am just so excited and shocked that it's working out how I had hoped. When I first saw this pattern, when I first saw a picture of this pattern, the main picture that is on the Ravelry page just shows like the top section of it. And so I assumed that it was a sweater when I first saw it. And then when I clicked on it, I saw that it was a poncho, and I was like, oh, I kind of wanted that to be a sweater. And I was like, well, I can just make it a sweater. And well, I was hoping I could make it into a sweater. I was nervous that it wasn't going to work out, but it is, and I'm so happy with that. Now, it is warming up. I'm so thankful that the weather is warming up, but of course, that means I'm probably not going to get a lot of use out of this until fall, but that's okay. I can't stop knitting sweaters just because it's going to be summer sometime soon. So anyway, I'm happy to have this almost done, and this is going to be my 6th project from my Make 9 list. So very excited about that as well. My last work in progress is in this absolutely adorable project bag. Isn't that so cute? Okay, let me show you. This is my, sweater size kind of bag. It's a large project bag from Tanny Casey again. But look at the difference. This one's so adorable. This project bag I won from a knit along that Jules of So Sweet Violet hosted for her Sweet Bees socks pattern. And this beautiful bag is made by Caroline Watts Embroidery. And she is on Instagram, CW Embroidery. Here's her card. And I just love this so much. It's so adorable. Look at that cute little embroidered bee on there. And this is the first time I've used this project bag, and I just love it so much. And here is a new project that I cast on this week. And I am knitting a pair of DK weight socks using up some scraps. And this is what I have so far. DK weight socks work up super fast. In fact, this is the second time that I have knit this far on this sock. So this is a free pattern. It is called the Lunenburg County Socks, which is a free pattern by Angela Churchill. And the recommended needle size was a US 3.25 millimeter needle. And so that's what I started with. I have never made DK weight socks before, so I wasn't sure about, what I would need to get the right gauge. Or the right fit really is the main thing. I don't really care so much about the gauge as much as I care about how it fits on my foot. So I knitted the leg and I tried it on, and I could tell that it was a little bit loose, but it's just not very easy to tell until you get to the heel, I think. So I knitted all the way and just a little bit past where I am right now. I was working on the gusset stitches when I tried it on, and I could just tell that it was going to be way too baggy on my foot. So I kind of put it aside for a few days, because I was disappointed. I mean, it really works up so quickly. I restarted this yesterday, so it just works up so fast. This is just a 3x1 ribbed sock. So 48 stitches is what you cast on. And like I said, I'm just using lots of scrap yarn, and I really love how this is working up. I'm just doing random number of stripes and random colors. I'm not following a pattern for the stripes at all as far as how much yarn I'm using for each stripe. So anyway, I went down to a US 2.75 millimeter needle, I believe. Yes, for the second time knitting these, and the fit is so much better. I'm really happy so far with the fit. So I'm just super pleased with these. These are all my own hand-dyed yarns as well. Some of them are not repeatable colorways, but most of them are. So this is my choice silver colorway. This is not repeatable. This is my sweetness colorway, gaze. Can you see? This is enriched, and these are the remnants from this project. This is my cold water colorway. This is a non-repeatable colorway. I've just used this as I've dyed and had some extra color in my dye pot. I have used this skein of yarn to soak up the extra dye that was left over during different dye sessions. And the heel, I used my Deep Waters colorway. And again, this is all on my Josephine base DK weight, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. I am super excited to have these thicker socks, because fingering weight socks do not always keep my feet very warm, especially in the winter. So I'm hopeful that these will keep my feet warmer. I have made a pair of worsted weight socks before, but they had no nylon in them, and they lasted only a week. I wore them pretty much every day that week, but they only lasted a week before I wore holes in them. So I'm really hopeful that these will wear much better, since they do have 25% nylon in them. And if they do, I might just make a lot of DK weight socks in the future, because I think that I'm going to love them. I hope I do. I really like the looks of them, and I'm not going to make them matching. The second sock is going to have, I think these are all the colors that I'm going to put into it, but I'm not going to put any other colors in it, but I'm going to probably rearrange the stripes and the order and the thickness of each stripe so that they're pretty random. But I really like all of those colors together. So anyway, these are, a super fast project as well, which is so gratifying to be able to whip up a pair of socks pretty quickly. I have just started the gusset decreases. So anyway, I'm super happy with these, and I really love ribbed socks as well, just for a better fit. I find that they fit my foot really nicely, and I love a heel flap and gusset as well. I think they fit my foot as well much more nicely than any other heel. So yeah, I'm really happy about that work in progress. The last thing I have to share with you today is a set of yarn. Every time I record a podcast, I like to share a set of yarn that I think would work well together in a project. And today I have pulled these 3 colorways that I think look nice together. So these are my Good Sense colorway, which you did see in the mittens that I made. But this is just such a nice neutral color that goes with so much and works well in lots of projects just as a neutral. And the next color is my Thought colorway, which is a bare yarn that is speckled with light brown speckles. And the last colorway is my Strength colorway. So this is just a nice deep chocolatey brown color, and this is on my Twinkle Toes base, so you can see there's a bit of sparkle in there. I just really liked these 3 colors together for a nice neutral set. All of my colorways, and I do have several different colorways in my Etsy shop, all of them are available on all 9 of my bases. I have 5 fingering weight bases, I have a sport weight base, I have a DK weight base, and I have 2 worsted weight bases in my shop. So I have all of my colorways are available on all 9 of my bases at all times. So you can certainly go on over to my Etsy shop and check that out if you would be interested. I would appreciate it so much. So thank you very much if you do take the time to check out my Etsy shop. So that is all I have to share with you all this week. We have had a great week. We have had a few trials. We have, like I mentioned, have seen signs of spring. You will have seen in the opening that we have seen some snow geese migrating this morning. We got to see those flying overhead, and it was just so awesome to see them. They went on for miles. As far as we could see, we could see them flying to the west, but I suppose it was northwest. And anyway, they were just awesome to see. That's so special I just think that's incredible that, we're just this tiny little farm in eastern Nebraska. And what are the chances that we would be able to see that? I mean, every year we get to see geese flying north and south, in the fall and the spring. And I just think that's incredible to think about the number of geese that must be flying, that our little tiny farm is able to see them every single year. Anyway, it's just an incredible sight to see, and it's so incredible to hear them, and I just love it when we get to catch them flying north or south. But we have also had warmer weather, which has melted all of the snow that we had, and so we've had quite a bit of flooding in our area. We had some flooding around our house as well. We did get a little bit of water in our basement. It was nothing that was terrible. We did get a carpet remnant that is probably ruined. We're trying to dry it out, but I don't know if we're going to be able to save it. But it's just a remnant, so it's not that big of a deal. Our basement is not finished, and so we just had a remnant of carpet down there because our kids have some toys in the basement that they play with, so we like to have that little area for them to have carpeting for them to play on it. But anyway, we were able to get the water swept down to our drain in the basement, so it wasn't that big of a deal. More people in Nebraska have had it much worse than we have. Many people have had to evacuate from their homes, and roads are washed out in several areas. So we are grateful. We have not been able to get out of our driveway in our minivan again because, earlier this winter we were snowed in and now we're mudded in. We did get a new layer of rock laid on our driveway, so my husband thinks that we should be good to try to get out with the van. We did try to go to town on Wednesday this week, but we could not make it up the hill. So anyway, yesterday we got some rock laid on the driveway, and so hopefully now it will be a little bit more firm and we'll have a little bit more traction to be able to get out of the driveway. But I'm just grateful that we have this dry home. It is dry now, and I'm just grateful that we have so many blessings. We really need to count our blessings when there is tragedy going on around us. It makes me feel so much more grateful for what we do have. We've also seen our first robin, which I always say that is a sure sign of spring when we see robins coming back, and the kids are enjoying getting outside finally to like actually play outside, not for just 5 minutes and then they come in freezing cold for hot cocoa, but they can actually go outside for a lengthy amount of time to really enjoy the outdoors, which is awesome. So I'm so grateful for that as well. Anyway, I hope that you all have had a great week. I hope you all have a great week ahead. If you enjoyed this podcast, please feel free to subscribe to this channel and give me a thumbs up. I would really appreciate that so much. Thanks again for joining me. Bye-bye.